before the skies tore open, before the mud and the ash. There was an age of silver light. They were the Earth-shattering, a civilization of grace woven into the very fabric of the earth. They built their cities not to conquer the land, but to embrace it. And they thrived under the watchful, ancient gaze of a god who breathed. He was the Great White, a leviathan of frost and pearl. To the rest of the universe, a dragon was a monster of fire and ruin. To the Earth-shattering, he was the shield of the realm. It was a sacred covenant. The people brought him the richest bounties of their harvests, laying their offerings at the highest peaks of the world with songs of gratitude. In return, the Great White cast his vast, glittering wings over their valleys. His roar was not a threat, but a promise. Under his shadow, no darkness could take root. No storm could break them. It was a perfect, delicate balance, mortal and myth, breathing the exact same air, living side by side in absolute contentment. For a time, the world was whole, and they believed that the light would never fade.
Look at the horizon. That sky doesn't promise us peace. It promises a reckoning. Today, we don't just march into another country. We march into the pages of a history that will be written in the blood we spill and the iron we break. They think their walls can hold back a storm. They think the snow will bury our intent. They are wrong. Some of you are afraid. Good. Fear is a whetstone. Let it sharpen your resolve. Look to the soldier on your left. Look to the soldier on your right. You are no longer individuals. You are a single blade, forged in the fires of our home and tempered in the frost of this land. We do not invade for crowns of gold. We invade to ensure that when the world looks back at this day, they remember the name of the army that did the impossible. We are the end of their era and the beginning of our own. When you reach those gates, do not ask for permission. Be the sign! Break their lines! Shatter their hope! Leave nothing but the memory of our strength for the fallen, for the future! The volley! Keep firing, don't let off!
The sky didn't rain water that day. It rained iron. They brought fire and steel to break us. We stood in the silent, muddy aftermath, alive. We had won, but the price was his blood, broken, breathing heavy. He gave us one last quiet look. Then, with torn and heavy wings, he vanished into the freezing mist. He saved us and left to heal in the dark, alone. War leaves only ash, but the water provides. At the height of Ithalari's sorrow, the river washed two fragile lives against the feet of the broken. To save them was pure defiance. Family is forged not in blood, but in the grief we survive together. By saving the river's children, they salvage their own souls.
Look, brother, the invaders have came back. So the story we heard from our elders was true after all. When we crawled from the wreckage of our own world, we were hollow husks. The Ethelari did not see enemies. They saw thirsty roots. They didn't just save our lives. They gave us a reason to have them. That debt isn't a ledger in a book. It's the pulse in your wrist. If the Iron Marchers want to burn this forest, they have to go through the ghost who found a soul here. We aren't fighting for a king or a god. We are fighting so the next broken stranger finds the same shade we did. Let me show them that life given by choice is fiercer than a life by birth. They build these roaring, mindless beasts believing they can eat the world. They think our homes, our people, and our lives are just fuel for their engines. But look at it now. Iron has no soul. It only knows how to starve, and now it dies in the mud just like the rest of them. Look out, brother!
Fear is a heavier chain than iron. When the beast took his brother, the boy did not bleed with him. He stood frozen in the ash, a child paralyzed by the shadow of death. The Iron Marchers saw that fear and built an empire upon it. They shackled the Ethylari, turning a proud people into broken beasts of burden. The boy spent his youth swallowing the bile of his own cowardice, forced to watch the very people who had saved him bleed under the whip. But there is a limit to how much a soul can be crushed before it sharpens into a blade. Slowly, the grief burned away his fear. Today, the watching ends.
Thank you, son, for saving us.
He's finished. Look at him. He was not a god, just meat. They call us animals, but animals do not rise. They submit. You must choose. Stand in the ash or pick up a weapon. I need your help. To end this, I need intelligence. I am looking for something. Something specific. A tool to turn their own weapons against them.
Please visit the underground. Maybe you find some strength there.
You killed one. A straggler in the ash, probably. And now you think you've broken their empire. One dead invader doesn't win a war, boy. It just points the swarm right to our doorstep.
I didn't bring it here to show off. I brought it here to show you they are meat and bone underneath that iron. They bleed just like we do.
Look around you. We are scavengers living in the guts of our own dead world. You want to fight them with sharpened bones and rusted scrap? They have plasma artillery that can turn this cavern to glass. You don't want freedom, you want a mass grave.
We're already in a grave! My generation don't even remember the sun. We are born in the soot. We pull their chains, and we die in the dark so they can harvest our planet. I am not letting another generation be born into those collars. If we die standing up. But I need you to give us claws.
I had that exact same look in my eyes once. It cost me my brother, cost me my squad.
Then make their deaths mean something. You know the metal. You know the tech.
You know what they use this for down here. A distraction. A few drops to numb the pain. To make the refugees forget they are starving. But that's not what it is.
It's what the invaders are drilling for. The core fluid.
Exactly. It's highlight concentrated geothermal plasma. In its raw, unrefined state, it's relatively stable. But if you hyperpressurize it inside a sealed iron casing,
it becomes a localized seismic charge.
One of these, properly rigged, has enough concussive force to breach a surface-level fortress wall. It burns so hot it melts their armor straight to their skin.
The multi-crib explosives.
But the diluted sludge they sell in the market won't work. We need the pure, unrefined liquid, straight from the planet's mantle.
And to finance a war, to buy the scrap iron.
The wiring, the stealth gear for a whole army, we have to control the supply.
How?
The invaders have a central extraction pipeline sector on the lower sublevel. But if you and a small crew can breach it, if you can hijack the main pressure valves, we bleed them dry.
Tell me what you need me to do. The weapon is ready. Good, check the maps. The others are moving in. We strike soon.
The human outpost is here. We strike at dawn. Agreed.
Special that. Let's hope the nearest saturation.
The energy core is stabilizing. Increase the flow. We must harness it.
My lord, they have infiltrated the central extraction pipeline we conquered. Prepare the army.
They believed they had survived the storm, blissfully unaware that they had only just awakened the hurricane.
For too long, we were cattle in our own mountains. But no more. You look at this slaughter and think you've broken my strength. You look at the mud, choking on the blood of my own men, and believe you have finally won. You haven't killed my army. You've just cleared my stage. Look at what your hope bought them. Not freedom, just an early grave in the mud. You convinced them they were more than slaves. You made them look up at the sky, only to drag them right back down into the ash with you. That is the true cruelty of a savior. You gave them the illusion of a choice. I merely restored the natural order. You see, flesh always breaks against iron. A rebellion is nothing but a massacre with a louder heartbeat. And listen, the beating has finally stopped. You wanted so desperately to be their martyr. To die for your people, I accept your terms. But as you close your eyes, know this, there is no one left alive to sing your song.
fires finally choked on their own ash, leaving behind a silence so deep it felt like the end of the world. No victors, no vanquished, just the dead. Yet, as the blood-stained river dragged its way through the ruins, baskets breached the smoke, carrying the quiet, impossible sound of a heartbeat.